Welcome to the Audio Inc. Radio podcast, featuring interviews with the biggest names in rock and metal, hosted by Anne Erickson.
Get inked. Visit Facebook.com/Audio Inc. Radio, Twitter.com/Audio Inc. Radio, and AudioIncRadio.com for more ink.
If there is one band out there who can make us forget that this year ever happened, because I think a lot of us want to forget that it ever happened. I mean, hardly any live music, the whole COVID thing and all that craziness kind of seems in some ways like a lost year, even though I have to be grateful for things, and I'm sure you do as well. So I'm not saying it's a totally lost year, but when it comes to live music, it's a lost year. But if there's one band who can just make us forget about all the craziness of the year and all the bad stuff and any issues, any problems in your life, that band is Steel Panther, because their music is about fun. Their live show is one big party. It's about having fun. They want people to come to their shows, forget about every care in the world, and for a night, just have a fun time rocking out at a rock show, at a crazy, wild, party happy rock show. That, my friend, is Steel Panther. The guys of Steel Panther have actually kept pretty active this year when it comes to doing different things. I mean, it would have been easy to just sit back and say, well, we can't go out and do shows. We're just going to hang out. But they did not do that. They've done a bunch of really cool things. I mean, they had that What Day Is It video series starring a bunch of different rock stars. I remember seeing LJ from Seven Dust and a bunch of other ones, basically reminding us what day of the week it was, because especially on lockdown or in quarantine, sometimes it's hard to keep track of just what day it is. So that was a public service to people. Then Steel Panther also did not one, but two of those live stream events, which I saw the last one online, and it was really cool. I mean, it was the guys of Steel Panther rocking out right there, all these cameras around, and it kind of felt like a personal serenade, which it wasn't. I know a bunch of people were watching, but it felt like a very personal show because you knew that other people were seeing the show, but you were so close based on where the cameras were. You got to just be right in their faces. And they put on a great high energy concert, very fun concert per usual. And it was also cool because you could see the different fans from around the world writing comments on the page, kind of like with Metallica Mondays, how you would see people writing comments and it would pop up and then you could write your own comment and it would pop up. It was kind of like that. I could see all these people from all over commenting about the show, sending little hearts and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool how they made that live stream thing work. And now Steel Panther, one of the first bands in the US, rock bands at least, or metal bands, who is doing the whole drive-in concert thing, because we've been hearing about this for a long time. I remember March 13th. I think that was the date when pretty much everything around the US shut down. Just bam, because I was at the radio station where I work and I was getting all these messages of everything shutting down. It was so crazy. And it was, I think, March 13th. And ever since then, we've been hearing about the possibility of drive-in concerts, which at first sounded so weird. And it still does sound kind of weird, kind of different. But we've been hearing about them for months and months. But it takes time to get something like that together because this is novel territory. It's not like doing a typical band tour or anything like that. It's something that no one had really put together. So it took a long time for, I think, bands to figure out just how to do it. Steel Panther, one of the very first rock and metal bands in the US to actually pull it off. I know Brent Smith and Zach Myers from Shinedown, they're also doing a drive-in show with their acoustic project. And Skillet, they've got some drive-in concerts down in Texas. Those are the ones that I know of right now. I mean, Metallica, of course, did that big drive-in movie thing, but that was a filmed concert, which I still think was pretty cool. But that wasn't the same as doing a personal drive-in show when the band is actually there. But Steel Panther, September 11th and 12th in Pittsburgh. That's when they'll be doing the whole drive-in thing. And kind of funny, their press statement is very Steel Panther. Bring your hot rod and hot dates to the concert event of the weekend. This ain't your mama's NASCAR. This is Steel Panther live and out of our cage in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, the local government has informed us that it's totally illegal to attend the concert naked. They blamed COVID, so please still wear a mask when you're around strangers. That is a very Steel Panther-esque press statement, so I have to give them props on that. Looking forward to hearing about how the show goes, because I believe that if it goes well and all is good, the guys are going to try to do it around the U.S. So I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people are divided on the whole drive-in concert thing, but if you like the idea, I'm sure that you will be happy to know it's possible that Steel Panther might, just might, perform in your area very, very soon. So you can wait on that. Steel Panther, a regular guest, one of our favorite on the podcast, on the show. And usually I interview Styx from Steel Panther, who is an awesome dude, always a great guy to talk with, very charismatic and just a great dude. But today I have, for the first time, Michael Starr from Steel Panther. For the very first time he's ever been on the show, I believe. I think I would remember if I've interviewed him before. So very excited to have the frontman of Steel Panther on the show, Michael Starr, very talented dude, very fun guy, as you will soon find out. I'm Anne Erickson. It's great to rock with you, as always. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. And by the way, if you haven't, why not? I want to know what is taking you so long. I promise that it's fun. So hit subscribe wherever you rock out to podcast. Also, if you listen on Apple Podcast or Spotify or any of those podcast platforms, I also have a YouTube where I post some video interviews and some of the audio interviews as well. So make sure to subscribe to that. That's youtube.com/audio ink radio. That's INK like tattoo ink. youtube.com/audio ink radio. Finally, as you know, I love to hear from you. So shoot me a message. Let me know maybe someone you think I should get on the show, or just chat. You can email me, ann@audioinkradio.com. You can also just link up with me on my personal Twitter and Snapchat at Anne Erickson, Instagram at Erickson Ann. Also, Facebook is kind of complicated, so it's easier just to go to my general website, itsmeann.com. You'll see how to link up on Facebook, and pretty much all of my social media is up there. Without further ado, let's talk with Michael Starr from Steel Panther. Let's get inked.
Hey, what's up? This is Michael Starr from Steel Panther. You're listening to Audio Ink Radio with your host, Anne Erickson. Hi.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. Crazy year and stuff, but I'm hanging in.
Oh, yeah. I feel you. I'm crazy, too.
Tell me, how have you guys been doing this year, the craziness of coronavirus? And I see you've been keeping really active despite everything.
Yeah, trying to, man. It's tough. It's like, it really is tough. I was just thinking about that before you brought it up, and it's like, everything has changed in my life so dramatically that it's starting to affect me mentally. I need to get out and play some shows.
Well, and you have these drive-in concerts on the way, which is really cool. And you're really one of the first rock bands that I've seen in the U.S. do this drive-in thing. So what made you guys want to do this, and why are you excited for it?
Well, I'll tell you, this is the thing that I think my mind has been looking forward to, is to just get out and get on stage and play in front of people. And we're trying to think of any way that we can do our job. I mean, our job is to rock some balls. So
right.
The only way to do it is a drive-in theater. And, we've been trying to put a whole tour together this way. And so far, this is going to be the acid test. We'll see how it works out and, see how people like it. Hopefully everyone digs it and it turns out good and we can continue to go play shows until we're done being locked down.
Yeah, I was going to ask actually if you guys are planning on doing more, because I'm in Michigan, kind of near Detroit, and we would love to have you guys come here.
Oh my God, so would I. God, what I would give just to be on a bus. Seriously, man, just go out and be with. Another thing too that's changed is I'm not with my guys anymore. We see each other every now and then, and we Zoom and we talk on the phone, but we're not together like we have been for the last 20 years. It's the longest we've ever been apart, and it sucks. It sucks because I miss them. That's why I'm so excited to do these shows. I can't wait. It's going to be really fun.
That's awesome. And are you going to tape the shows?
Yeah, we're going to definitely bring somebody to capture all the history. This may be a one-time thing we do, is play drive-in shows. I don't think we'll probably do. I don't foresee it being the normal thing from here on out, but you never know.
Right. And you guys also have done a few live stream events, which have been really cool. So tell me how that's helped you connect with the fans.
It's been great. We did our very first one several months ago, and it turned out to be really fun and really something that I think that we can do. And we've done 2 so far, and we're actually trying to put together a weekly stream of live shows and interaction with our fans, because it does help us to interact with them and keep people engaged in Steel Panther and remind people that we're still here and we're not going anywhere, and we're not breaking up, we're not getting in a fight, we're not going to stop playing because we haven't toured. We are not only are we working out to be better, we're going to come out and kick so much ass when this quarantine's over. People are going to get surgeries, get new asses put on.
I feel like people are going to be so wanting, obviously, that in-person live music once this is finally all over.
I think you're right.
Absolutely. So the name of the drive-in show is Fast Cars and Loud Guitars, which I think is really fun. Tell me about how you guys are. Yeah, that's so fun. Tell me about how you guys are prepping for that.
Well, I stopped wearing earplugs about 5 years ago, right, on stage, and we started using those in-ear monitor things. Mm-hmm. And, they're kind of cool and they're really nice, but I tell you, they kind of take away the live feel of the audience. So we're going to take those out, and I'm getting prepared that way because it's a different way to perform, and so you have to get used to it. So I have this huge ghetto blaster that's a Bluetooth ghetto blaster. I swear to God, it is so loud you could blow your ears out. So I turn that thing all the way up. I have a wireless mic that connects to it, and I sing along to our own karaoke tracks that I have at the house. Thank you. And that's how I'm getting prepared. And also by working out, because, I'm so used to being on stage all the time that I really never had to go run or do cardio, because I'm already doing it every night, on stage. Not every night, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. No, it's a workout.
Now it's like I don't have that energy or that adrenaline rush, so I have to try and recreate it at home. Right.
It's a total workout what you guys do, because you're not just a band that stands up there and plays your instruments. You guys are all over the place.
Yeah, we don't stand there. That's a great statement, and you're right. That's one of the things that when this first happened, I was like, all right, I can give my body a break. And it's like, an NBA basketball player, you get a break and you can let your body heal up and then come back and kick more ass. But then, dude, after 4 weeks, I'm like, all right, this is a cool vacation, but I'm ready to go rock now. I want to get out there and I want to run around any stage possible.
Well, so Metallica did that drive-in movie thing recently, last weekend. What did you think of that? Obviously different than doing an in-person live show at a drive-in.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it. I just heard the advertisement, and I don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't see it, and I haven't researched it. I haven't had a chance to go check it out after the fact. Did you get to see it?
I did not, no. It seemed to go over.
People saw it.
Yeah, it seemed to go over pretty well, but I think it's obviously going to be better to have you guys there in person performing. And I've seen some footage from bands in Europe who are doing this sort of thing, and it actually looks really cool. So I think it's promising.
For the drive-in?
Yeah, the drive-in shows.
Yeah, that was the first one I saw, and I saw that and I texted to our drummer Sticks. I'm like, hey man, check this out. This is pretty interesting. And it took a while to get this stuff going initially out here because they didn't really know how to facilitate it. Same thing with the live stream. No one was really doing live streams, and so to figure out how to do that, it took a little bit to get that going. But I think we've got a really good system for that. So I think with the drive-in shows and some live streams, we can supplement the appetite for some heavy metal during this quarantine.
And I think that's what we all need. So I'm glad you guys are doing it because, as I mentioned, you're one of the first bands that I've seen do this in the U.S.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad we're doing it too. Gives us a chance to go out and go do some shows.
Right.
I mean, hell, I haven't been to Pittsburgh in a long time.
Yeah, so based on what you're hearing in the industry, do you have any idea when traditional shows might be back?
Well, we still have all our shows that we booked on our calendar in October.
Oh, wow.
November, December. So, they're still there. Nobody knows. And that's the truth behind it. And so they're not canceled yet. And I guess every time we get like 6 weeks out to a show, they seem to kind of peel off. But we'll see what happens. You never know.
Wow, so it's possible the fourth quarter might have some actual shows?
Well, I know that, we book our shows probably 6 months ahead. So, we're already booked in, February 2021 and March. So, it's hard to say. We just don't want to go, okay, let's just take them off our calendar. We'll just leave them there and see if they don't cancel them. So, yeah, there's definitely a possibility that shows could happen, but I don't have any predictions on whether that will happen or not happen. So that was the most vague answer I could ever give you.
No, I know what you mean, though. I mean, it's hard to tell. I know some other countries are having concerts, but it's 25% capacity or something, and that would just be weird. So,
well, that's like playing a show that didn't sell well.
Right. That's what the vibe would probably feel like that.
And we're good at those. We can do that all day long because we're used to like opening up for, when we first started, we opened up for whoever would let us open up for them. And being the kind of band we are, people are like, what? What are you guys doing? It was really hard to win people over. So we're down to do that. We'll play for 30 people.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. So I wanted to ask you, we lost a very positive voice in heavy metal recently, Frankie from Quiet Riot. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on losing Frankie.
Yeah, it was so sad to hear that news. It sucks when somebody, I don't know, he's one of the, founders of heavy metal. I mean, they're the ones, Quiet Riot are the ones that were coined heavy metal back in the day. I don't know if you know that, but at least in America, in my experience, that's how it went down. And, I knew Frankie, we weren't like super close friends, but we were professional friends. And I also toured with them. I played in the band for a while called LA Guns, and we toured with Quiet Riot. And we did, I think, 2 legs with them. So we did total 12 weeks together. And I got to know him and Kevin really well. Kevin was very helpful to me because I was just learning how to tour, and Frankie was really cool. And also Slaughter was on that tour too as well. And it was great to get to know him, and then to hear of his passing was just I don't know how to put it in words. It just sucks. Such a bummer. I
know. I was really hoping he would pull through, but I also know that form of cancer is so, deadly. So it's just terrible.
Yeah, the pancreatic cancer, right?
Yeah. He played right up until the end, too, which kind of surprised me. He really just stayed super active.
Yeah, I always wondered why people do that. I think I get it. It's kind of like as you get older, if you get a disease or something, and I'm only imagining, but I mean, there's been times when I'm so sick, I have the flu or something, but I got to go on stage, and just the moments on stage while I'm performing make me the happiest. And then when I'm done, I feel like crap. So maybe that's why.
So I know you guys recently, released new music and everything, but is there any talk of a new record yet or working on new stuff with the whole quarantine period happening?
Yeah, our guitar player Satchel has been writing some really killer tunes, and we're not writing about the quarantine. We're writing about the shit we'd like to write about, which is partying and having a good time. Because I don't want to put out a record about how much of a bummer it was to be in quarantine and COVID-19. Our music is meant to have you go to a place of fun, place of escape, where you don't have to think about the realities and just escape and have a good time and party. And we're hoping to start recording it as soon as we can. So we should have something out. I don't want to give a timetable of when it'll be out, but as soon as we can start getting in the studio and recording, which you would think would be easy, but it's not.
Right.
We're going to get it out. Probably quicker than we normally would, actually.
Wow. So at least maybe next year?
Yeah, I mean, unless stuff opens right away and then we're booked for the next 9 months, yeah. If it stays closed, then we'll definitely have something out for next year.
And I'm so happy that it will be, not about COVID and quarantine, because there's going to be so much music out there about all that stuff, and it'll be great to have something just really fun.
That's what we do.
Oh.
We sell happy. We don't sell depression.
So if there's one collaboration I want to see, it's you with Chris Jericho and Sebastian Bach. Would that ever happen?
That's really funny. I don't know. I almost posted something about that, and I thought, God, they're both my friends, right? And I haven't talked to Sebastian about Chris, but I've talked to Chris about Sebastian because I talked to Chris more than I talked to Sebastian, right? Mm-hmm. And the last time, and these are professional friendships. They're not like we hang out friendships. Like this is like festival touring or being on tour together or running into each other. Mm-hmm. But Sebastian, I was at his birthday party I think it was last year, the year before, and I don't know if he would. I think he'd probably disown me if I brought anything up about that. You know what I mean? He'd be like, "Fuck that," and I'm like, I don't want to lose that dude as a buddy. So I think I might just leave that shit alone.
Okay, but you have to give me credit that that would be pretty cool.
I think I'm just telling you, I'm too much of a pussy to try and put it together. I did say though, I go, what would be really cool is if Chris and Sebastian set up a boxing ring in my backyard and we filmed it on Instagram Live to see who could actually who would win the fight. That'd be pretty rad.
Yeah, no, that would get a lot of views. So I think you've got something there.
And if we were to record a song, what song do you think we should do?
Gosh, I think an original. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to find something to write it, though, because we're all just guys who don't write.
I'm sure you guys could drum up something.
We could drum up some ideas.
Now, this is a tough one. Who do you think is the greatest metal vocalist of all time?
Heavy metal vocalist of all time, for me, I would put David Lee Roth first. Now, overall, live and recording and influencing, I would probably say Klaus Meine. So I gave you two.
Awesome. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to add? This has been great.
Yeah, go to my Instagram. It's Michael Starr with 2 R's. And follow me and check out what's coming up. I usually post, interesting things like what I'm doing and what I ate for breakfast. I'm just kidding. I post very rarely, but come follow me. It's cool.
I will, and I'm sure that everyone listening will as well. Cannot wait for those drive-in shows. Yeah, and thank you for doing the drive-in shows because, like I said, we all really, want some live music right now.
Oh, you're welcome. I can't wait to do them. I'm so excited. My bag's already packed, by the way.
Good. That's a good thing.
Yes, they are.
Well, have a good day and stay safe.
Thank you. I will.
There he is, Michael Starr from Steel Panther. Thank you for being an awesome guest on my show. Great to have him on for the first time because usually I talk with Styx, who is a great guest, but it was fun to have Michael on for the first time. Hopefully he enjoyed himself. And yeah, they've got those 2 drive-in shows later on this month in Pennsylvania. And who knows, maybe they'll actually take the show on the road. You never know. It sounds like that's the end game. That's what they hope they can do once these shows are in the books. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I'm happy that they're actually going to be able to be out there in person performing to people. Who knows how it's going to go? But you know what? I've seen some footage, I have to admit, from European drive-in shows. And it looks like it's pretty fun. It looks like for the sake of the moment, I think it will be very cool. So looking forward to hearing how that goes. And also very, very excited to hear that Steel Panther is working on new music. Very happy to hear that because they just recently put out that new record last year, and usually they would not be writing at this point. They'd be touring and doing stuff like that, as Michael mentioned. But with all the time in the world right now, why not work on new music? So sounds like we might actually get a new Steel Panther record by next year. Unless, like he said, stuff opens up. Kind of neat to hear that they actually still have shows on the books for later this year, like real shows, in-person, club type gigs. So we'll have to wait and see if that pans out as well. Don't have the best feeling about it just because of how the rest of the year has gone. But you never know. I remember when I interviewed Robert Mason from Warrant just a few weeks ago, which, by the way, you can find that on the podcast. Just go down a few interviews, or actually I think it was just the previous interview or one before that, but you can listen to that full interview, which was a great chat with Robert about all things 80s hard rock and heavy metal and lots of different stuff. He was a great guest, but he actually kind of said the same thing. He said that they have shows on the books for the fourth quarter and that they might actually be able to be at those shows and perform. So who knows? I mean, we've seen Sturgis and some of these outdoor festivals somehow pull off a socially distanced mask wearing concert. But I think that with an indoor venue, that's a whole different ball game, because then you're going to talk about having to keep the audience really low. And as we mentioned in the interview, I mean, playing to a capacity of 25%, I would think that ticket prices would have to be a lot higher to make that a livable thing for the band performing. That right there is going to be a big roadblock for people who want to go and see the show. And let's face it, concert tickets are already really expensive. So if they up the price, it's just going to be out of reach for most people. But who knows? I'm just hoping and praying that somehow, some way this all turns around, because I really, really want to go to a concert. I am going through major withdrawals. Earlier in the year, it wasn't as bad, but now it's just been months and months. So hopefully next year, I'm hoping on next year, which it's crazy to think that we used to think next year was so far away, and that if they did have concerts next year, that was way too long to wait. And now everyone is thinking that would be the earliest, or wow, that'd be so cool if next year we could actually see a concert if that early. I've heard crazy projections, but I'm not even going to say them because you just don't know. No one knows. So no one knows. Let's just say that if by next year we can have traditional shows, I, for one, will be a happy camper, and I will be at a Steel Panther show because, as I mentioned earlier, if there is one band who can make you forget that this year ever happened, you know it's Steel Panther. They just make you forget about anything going on in your life. And just a fun night with Steel Panther. Great guys, very talented. I don't think that people give them enough respect for how they really can master their instruments and how have mastered their instruments, but very talented dudes. So thank you again, Michael, for being a guest. And hey, if you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, I don't know why. I promise it's fun. It's painless, so do it right now. Just hit subscribe wherever you are rocking right now. And by the way, if you subscribe on Apple or Spotify and haven't on YouTube yet, please do that, because some of the interviews are on YouTube as well. And also I've got video interviews, which are different from these audio ones. So you can actually see video interviews up there as well, stuff like that. So youtube.com/Audio Inc. Radio. That's INK like tattoo ink. audioinkradio.com. And if you want to connect with me, you can send me an email. I've been getting some pretty cool emails, so I'd love to get more. Anne at audioinkradio.com. You can also link up with me on Twitter and Snapchat at Anne Erickson, Instagram at Erickson Anne, and Facebook at itsmeanne.com, because you can just easily find all of my socials up there. Well, this has been a blast. Did you have fun? I was hoping you'd say that. I had a great time rocking with you, as always. One last thing, we are no Steel Panther, but check out my band, Upon Wings, at uponwings.com. Trying to wrap up something very cool, very special, so looking forward to that. Until next time, be safe, God bless, and we'll rock soon.
It's the cutting edge of new music and the forefront of rock. It's Audio Inc. with Anne.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Audio Inc. Radio Podcast. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. Get inked online at audioinkradio.com. I'm Anne Erickson for the Audio Inc. Radio Podcast.